This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
It's a way that we can connect to the past, of course, to have programs like this. And we see the similarities, but we also see the differences between how families celebrated 100 years ago, what traditions were important to them, versus what we do today and what's important to us.
It's nice because it gets people out and about, helps when the weather is so nice, but they're usually not just going to one place. They usually come down and check out the entire, downtown as a whole, so it gets, spreads business around and, gets people to go to other places.
Rotary Lights is an amazing thing for the community. We'd like to give some love to the North Side as well. There's a lot of people who are true North Side pride, and so we have a great park here in Copeland, and we just want to make sure that everyone appreciates the North Side as well.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Monday, November 28th, 2022. I'm Ken Kozrowski. That's Derek Sibley. It is 6 a.m. on this Monday morning. Let's start it off with a look at what's going on outside, Derek.
Yeah, that's right, Ken. You're going to feel it here as you head out the door with our temperatures because we're about 10 to 20 degrees colder here this morning compared to where we were just 24 hours ago. Our current temperatures now mainly a combination of seeing the teens and 20s. We got 19 now currently in Eau Claire. Meanwhile, south in La Crosse at 22. 13 is the temperature. Good morning to you in Sparta. Much colder, though, Black River Falls at 12 degrees, 23 in Winona. We have seen over the last few hours some increasing clouds here, and that's associated with what is to come as we head into tomorrow. But for today, expect the mainly cloudy weather here through much of the morning. Also into the late morning, into the afternoon, skies will look mainly cloudy and just overall pretty overcast early. Our temperatures start to warm above freezing by 11, followed by 40s as we head into around 1 o'clock, and then just continue throughout the afternoon. Thanks to that south wind to help keep us relatively mild here today, despite the cloud cover. But Ken, coming up in just a bit, we'll talk about what's to come because tomorrow could be looking a little bit different.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Derek. Let's get some news this Monday morning. Historic Hickson House in La Crosse kicked off the holiday season with a look into the past. Starting this past weekend, visitors can learn about Victorian holiday traditions and enjoy a tour of Hickson House. After the tour, visitors will also get the chance to have some snacks and browse the discount gift shop. According to the staff, this event is all about connecting to the past and celebrating those past holiday traditions.
It's a way that we can connect to the past, of course, to have programs like this. And we see the similarities, but we also see the differences between how families celebrated 100 years ago, what traditions were important to them, versus what we do today and what's important to us.
The house on 7th Street will be open for holiday tours next weekend. Tickets will cost you between $6 and $15. You can grab those online or at the door. We posted a link with more information at news8000.com. Well, the holiday season often reminds us how powerful a community can be when it unites. In a story you will see only on News 8 Now, one Tomah High School senior is feeling that sense of community at a time when she needs it the most. It's a wonder how Tomah's Peyton Foster makes time for everything on her plate.
I've always been a really active and healthy person.
Beyond school and student clubs, she plays golf in the fall, softball in the spring, and in winter, her second home is on the mat.
I've done gymnastics since I was 3 years old. It's always kind of been my go-to sport.
It's also a sport that takes a toll on the body.
I started having a lot of body aches and I was just really tired all the time. And so I kind of knew something was off last year, but not enough to go to the doctor. I wasn't on my deathbed or anything.
But the fatigue was back this year, and so was a swollen lymph node on her neck. Doctors ordered a biopsy to check for cancer.
I looked at my mom and I said, am I gonna lose my hair? That was my initial thought. It was just the shock of it's not me. That doesn't happen to me because no one ever thinks it will.
She had a biopsy on a Friday. Her parents showed her the results the following Monday.
And I remember I just broke down. Nothing seemed real at that point. It was just kind of like I was living in a nightmare.
It was classic Hodgkin's lymphoma, a cancer affecting the lymph nodes of our immune system. She would need a PET scan to see how much it had spread.
And I looked at my scan, I could see my entire body outline, and I kind of looked at it and I was like, whoa, I look like a light bulb. Why does it look like that? And they're like, hey, and that's all cancer. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's a lot more than I thought it was.
Doctors told her it was stage 4.
Kind of sinking in my seat, and it felt like the whole world was just falling in on me at that moment.
The task ahead of her, 6 months of chemotherapy, wiping out her chance to compete.
A hard pill to swallow knowing that I won't ever get to go out and compete another floor routine or go out and swing on the bars again. That's really hard.
As a captain since sophomore year, telling her team was hard.
A lot of us were really sad because we all love Peyton. She's been all of our best friends on the team.
We had a room full of crying girls in a matter of seconds. I mean, it was tough on everybody.
They all wanted to show their support somehow. The answer came from their annual themed shirts.
One team, one family, Toma Gymnastics. And so we were like, wait, that would be a good idea to put Team Peyton on the back.
They usually just sell within the program. This year, demand is off the charts.
Tons of kids at school ordering them, tons of people sharing about them.
Judges and former teammates and former other gymnasts from the conference have messaged and sent money.
I really think that it would have felt like I had the worst hand dealt to me ever if I didn't have the support team that I do. My family, my friends, the doctors, the support team at the hospital really make me feel confident in the journey that I have ahead, and I know that it's going to be hard, but I know that I'm going to overcome it.
In between treatment, she'll be sending that positivity right back to her second family.
I'm going to be the motivational speaker on the team this year. I'm going to do the girls' hair, and I'm going to lift them up, and I'm going to encourage them before all of their routines.
And in 6 months, she says the love and support from Team Peyton will take her to a cancer-free future.
You see those videos of people ringing the bell after cancer, and you're kind of like, oh, like that's really nice, but you don't think much of it. And now I see those videos, and it's just like, oh, I just want to do that. Like, I just want to ring the bell, and I just want to be done with this, and I just want to be over with it. But I think my first thing that I'm really looking forward to after this is just growing my hair out.
And Peyton tells me she's grateful for all the people who have reached out about their experiences with chemo to let her know it'll be okay and that they're out living their best lives. While a rare cancer, classic Hodgkin's lymphoma is also one of the most treatable. Toma businesses have also joined this Team Peyton cause. A Toma online jeweler is going to be creating bracelets to raise even more money for Foster and her family. And Toma Gymnastics t-shirt sales close later today. So if you'd like to order one, we have a link included on our web article for this story. On Saturday, shoppers supported their favorite local shops. Despite inflation concerns, Shopify announced that Black Friday sales reached a record high of $3.36 billion worldwide. Small businesses are hoping this trend continues and boosts sales throughout the holiday season as they recover from the pandemic and to continue to compete with retail giants like Amazon and Walmart.
On Saturday, President Biden and the First Lady got into the holiday shopping spirit on Nantucket's Main Street. Across the country, Americans are in buying mode after Black Friday kicked off the official holiday shopping season. The National Retail Federation predicts more than 166 million people will make purchases this weekend.
People like to see their clothes, try on sweaters, ask their friends if it looks good on them, maybe even get something to eat at the mall.
Today, Small Business Saturday is encouraging shoppers to support stores that face tough competition from online shopping and big retailers alike.
Anytime you come and give your support by shopping or frequenting their establishments, you're helping a family make it through.
A Bankrate survey finds more people will likely shop on Small Business Saturday than Black Friday this year. An estimated 63% of small retailers expect to see higher profits this holiday season, but high inflation is expected to be a wild card.
Instead of buying multiple gifts, I'm just limited to one gift per person. Some folks aren't even getting gifts.
Seems like every time you go out of the house, you spend $100.
Stacy Hollingsworth, who lives in Memphis, is snapping up shoes at this San Francisco shop.
I feel like it is a wonderful privilege to be able to support the smaller businesses. There's just nothing like the experience.
Hollingsworth says she first visited the store in 2013. This year, she bought 4 pairs of shoes. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Analysts say even if prices are up this holiday season, that doesn't mean profits are up as well, because small business owners are likely dealing with higher rent, utilities, and more. Well, here in La Crosse, the holiday shopping season also had an effect on small business owners. Small Business Saturday gave shoppers another chance to find some great local deals. Joshua Larson of Larson's General says it's a good chance for people to get to know their downtown.
It's nice because it gets people out and about, helps when the weather is so nice, but you know, they're usually not just going to one place. They usually come down and check out the entire, you know, downtown as a whole, so it gets, you know, spreads business around and, you know, gets people to go to other places.
And in La Crosse, there are plenty of places to choose from. Downtown Main Street representatives also say shopping local makes a difference as area businesses are still navigating through the pandemic. Well, lighten up the North Side. The Northside La Crosse Business Association brought the Northside community together Saturday evening for its annual Lights Over North La Crosse. Those who attended got to enjoy live music, Santa and Mrs. Claus, along with some hot dogs and s'mores by the fire. NLBA's president says this is a wonderful opportunity for the community to gather and a chance for the North Side to shine, just like the Rotary lights on the South Side.
Rotary Lights does amazing things for the community. We'd like to give some love to the North Side as well. There's a lot of people who are true North Side pride, and so we have a great park here in Copeland, and we just want to make sure that everyone appreciates the North Side as well.
And on top of turning on the light display, La Crosse Skyrockers set off fireworks. Jacobson says this year's event was their biggest yet. Still ahead on your morning news, millions of Americans are returning home from their holiday travel plans, but some waited longer than expected at the airport. And online Black Friday set a new record for sales. We'll dive into that a little bit more coming up after the break. It is 6:10 on a Monday morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Although the Minnesota Timberwolves lost to the Golden State Warriors on Sunday, one fan won big time. LaDavion Garrett Jr. attended his first basketball game since he was wounded by a gunshot in 2021. Although he's still learning to speak and walk again, his love for the Warriors still remains strong. The Warriors and Timberwolves arranged a suite for LaDavion and his family, and superstar Stephen Curry even met with him following the game. Don't go anywhere. More News 8 Now this morning coming up after the break.
And that was a live look there, as you just saw, from City Cam 8, showing quiet conditions, but we are watching the skies here as clouds continue to roll in from the west across the Coulee region. Let's get checked now on your zone forecast in La Crosse County. Temperatures warming up into the mid-40s. Going to be a pretty mild day, to say the least, across much of the area, with 46 being the high in La Crosse. And further south, Soldiers Grove, you're looking at a high of 47. Viroqua should be reaching a high of 43. And 44 in Arcadia today. It will be 44 in Black River Falls and 43 to the north in Osseo. Highs reaching 42 in Eau Claire, 40 today in Stanley, and roughly 39 today if you're in Thorpe. Your schoolcast here this morning does call for mostly cloudy skies, temperatures around 22, and then turning really cloudy by the lunch hour, temperatures at 38, 43 around dismissal time, and still lots of cloud cover to work with even as we head into the late afternoon hours. Stay tuned. I'll be back with a check on your full weather forecast. We'll talk about what is coming up for tomorrow.
The holiday shopping season has officially kicked off, with consumers spending more than $9 billion online on Black Friday. That's according to Adobe Analytics. Electronics and toy purchases help drive the record sales. Adobe, which tracks online retail purchases, estimates that today's Cyber Monday shopping sales will exceed $11 billion. If you're one of the millions who have made purchases over the holiday weekend, you may want to check your receipt to see how long you have to make a return. 6 out of 10 retailers recently said they're changing their policies this season, according to a survey by GoTRG, with many shortening the amount of time consumers are allowed to make returns. Some retailers are also adding return and restocking fees. Can't wait to raid the fridge for those Thanksgiving leftovers? Well, dairy farmers from Wisconsin say you can make various foods such as fondue, grilled cheese, and an all-time favorite, mac and cheese. And if you're looking for certain recipes to use, you can check out their website at wisconsincheese.com. Travelers face delays at airports and on the roads this holiday weekend. AAA estimated that nearly 55 million Americans would hit the road, rail, or air for the Thanksgiving holiday, making this year the third busiest since the company started keeping track back in 2000. On Saturday alone, the TSA screened more than 2.2 million people. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
Severe weather was primarily to blame for more than 6,000 flight delays and cancellations nationwide yesterday alone, according to FlightAware. New York, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. were among the worst hit.
Every single flight has been delayed. The weather is not the best, but we're working with it.
Andy Tim Bond said his trip from Dallas to spend Thanksgiving with relatives in the D.C. region was more expensive than previous years. He calls it a new normal.
The price of traveling and going to everything is definitely worth the family time.
With a song and a few fist bumps, one airport worker in Philadelphia kept passengers entertained as they passed through long security lines.
Flight doesn't board for another hour, but I had to be here extra early just in case.
AAA expects when the final numbers are tallied, this year's Thanksgiving holiday travel will have been on par with pre-pandemic levels, with more than 54 million Americans trekking more than 50 miles away from home. The bulk of those travelers hit packed roads.
We make this trip about once a year for Thanksgiving, and it's pretty typical to see this every time.
AAA also expects travel to continue into this week, with more Americans now working remotely.
All right, thanks very much, Naomi. Let's switch it up and send it over to Derek for a check of our forecast.
Well, things are definitely looking quiet here from City Cam 8 behind me, but we are keeping our eyes to the sky as seeing some cloudy weather beginning to move in. Temperatures currently at 22 degrees in La Crosse with southeast winds at 7, and that is making our feel-like temperature roughly around 13 degrees here. In Eau Claire, we go to the north. It's looking at, we're looking colder, I should say, temperatures at 19, and wind speed out of the east-northeast at around 3 miles an hour, with temperatures mainly around 21 degrees. If you're in Winona here, 13 degrees currently in Black River Falls and 13 as well in Sparta. Temperatures down south in Viroqua are currently at 22, and this is a huge difference compared to the last 24 hours. As you can see, we're about 10 to 20 degrees, much colder here than the last time here over the last 24 hours, with highs today rising to 44 in Black River Falls and 45 today in Sparta. It'll be around 44 today in Winona and 43 down south in Viroqua here today. We have some cloudy weather that continues to move in from the west and really build across the Coulee region now, and we will continue to expect the clouds to really just increase throughout the day, as skies will then turn overcast here by the afternoon especially, and temperatures at around 44 at 4, 41 degrees, and still cloudy by early this evening. So I want to turn your attention to the west, because we are watching this trough of low pressure that continues to take shape now, and as the system continues to develop and move east, we will be looking at the clouds continue to increase, with some snow here beginning to move in as early as tomorrow morning. But a lot of us are going to start to tap into some of that snowfall as we head into tomorrow afternoon, and some of that snow could turn heavy at times, especially late tomorrow afternoon and also into tomorrow evening on the west side here of this developing low as it continues to move in across the upper Midwest. Now, most of that snow should come to a close by tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning, and it looks like by Wednesday morning everything should move out as skies will continue to remain cloudy. It will be much colder though on the backside of the storm system, with temperatures dropping. At least the clouds though should begin to move out. We'll start to have a little bit more sunlight with clear skies at night here too as we head into later on the day on Wednesday. So here's a check on your 8-day forecast for you, and you'll see that we will be looking at some good chances of that rain snow here on Tuesday. Partly cloudy conditions for your Wednesday and Thursday. Still relatively cool out there with temperatures into the upper 20s to low 30s. We'll be looking at some cloudy weather perhaps moving in again on Friday, and then mostly sunny again Saturday. So kind of like an off and on pattern there, and low temperatures into the teens and 20s. Hey, don't forget you can also download our free First Alert weather app. You get it for free on the Google Play or Apple App Store. And stay tuned. We'll be right back with much more news and weather still to come here on News 8 Now this morning. For now, though, we're sending it a break with a look at what happened on this day in history for November 28th. We'll be right back. Temperatures this morning are mainly into the teens and 20s, and you can see that here with our current temperature map. In fact, in Eau Claire, you're currently at 19. Meanwhile, to the south in La Crosse, you're currently at 22 degrees. Over the last few hours or so, we have watched the clouds that continue to move in from the west across the Coulee region, and these clouds will continue to really just increase throughout the day today. In fact, we're expecting cloudy conditions to take over here for the afternoon conditions with the walks, cloudy skies, and then mainly just overcast conditions here as we head into your evening hours with you and your furry friend. But we're not expecting any rain or snow here. That is probably a different story though as we head into tomorrow, and we'll talk more about that in just a bit. We'll have your commute forecast as well coming up a little bit later. in weather.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Yesterday might have been Sunday, but it was the Badgers, not the Packers, making big headlines. And it's official, Luke Fickell of the Cincinnati Wildcats will be the next Wisconsin football head coach. The reports were rumored earlier yesterday afternoon, and then the Wisconsin Athletic Department sent out a press release confirming it. This is big for the Wisconsin program. Fickell was the next big deal, and if he didn't come to Wisconsin, he'd end up on some other big program. I know a lot of people are going to be upset that they aren't sticking with Jim Leonhard, but he'll find another job, whether it's on the next staff or with another team, and he'll always be loved in Madison. Sometimes breaking away from tradition, as hard as it is the right thing to do. And in the program's defense, there probably aren't a lot of guys you would hire over Jim Leonhard, but Fickell absolutely is one of them. He's been at Cincinnati since 2017 and has a career record of 57-18. He led his Group of 5 team to a college football playoff berth and brought the program up to a level where they even joined the Big 12. Wisconsin football needed a change at the front. They needed a guy that can change the culture as college football evolves, and they got exactly that. And if Jim Leonhard can't find a good head coaching job, maybe the Packers will take him in. Matt LaFleur was a big fan of his in 2021. Joe Barry's defense isn't cutting it. Last night, the Packers fell on the road in Philly to a really good Eagles team, but the defense gave up 40 points, and they were running the ball at will all night long. The offense looked good until Rodgers threw his second interception of the night and then went down with an injury that led to Jordan Love getting some field time. Packers fall to 4-8 on the season, and we'll have more coverage later this evening. That's all I have for now, but I'll be back later this evening with more Packers coverage. We'll be right back.
Breaking overnight outrage across China. Hundreds of protesters are calling for the president to step down in response to the costly zero COVID policy. An apartment fire that killed 10 people and injured 9 others last week has acted as a catalyst for public anger. Videos suggest the lockdown measures delayed rescuers from reaching the victims. From Shanghai to Beijing, residents gathered to mourn the victims of the fire and to advocate for freedom and democracy. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said Saturday his country aims to have the world's most powerful nuclear force as he promoted dozens of military personnel involved in the recent launch of a new ballistic missile. The announcement comes after North Korea conducted a test firing of a new missile earlier this month. The reported missile is a huge rocket that's theoretically capable of delivering a nuclear warhead to the United States. South Korea has the world's 10th largest economy, but it's facing a big problem: finding workers when the country has the lowest birth rate in the world. The believed reasoning is partly because of society rules to where the mother stays home and the father goes out to work. Mothers that want to rejoin the workforce after giving birth cannot because local childcare is too expensive. South Korea's president is pledging new parental benefits and a new government committee to come up with new ideas. There's also a growing number of women who have no interest in getting married or having babies for personal or societal reasons. In Los Angeles, jurors returned to the courtroom today for testimony by defense witnesses in the rape trial of Harvey Weinstein. Earlier this month, prosecutors rested their case against the disgraced movie producer. He is already serving a more than 2-decade sentence after a 2020 conviction in New York. The state's highest court recently agreed to allow Weinstein to appeal that verdict. In Wisconsin, a man accused of drugging his online dates may be involved in the death of a woman who collapsed in a South Milwaukee bar. Police say Tim Olson is a person of interest in the death of Kim Mikulance. Witnesses say they saw her pass out in a bar she went to regularly on November 17th. She later died in the hospital.
A lot of conversation going on as to what went down, and we really don't.
Olson has also used a fake name to set up a date with a woman in September using Match.com. Police say that woman woke up the next morning with no memory of the night before and more than $800 charged to her debit card. A request from an Islamic community in northwestern Wisconsin has turned a small community into a divided one. When the largest Somalian population in Barron, Wisconsin, a little over 2 hours away, asked the city for permission to publicly broadcast their call to prayer, the public had a lot to say.
I am the first Somali Muslim local city council elected official in the state of Wisconsin.
It took 3 tries for Isaac Muhammad to get elected to Barron City Council. But following his April win, he must now reckon with something he's never had to before.
I was disappointed to hear that, from Barron local saying that go back to Somalia. Well, this is my home. I have 5 children. 4 of my children were born in Barron. they don't know where else to go.
It's this sound that divided the community. Barron's sizable Somalian population asked the city for permission to broadcast their call to prayer from their two mosques. Members of the public turned out to oppose it.
You know, and we are like any other citizen. We are taxpayers. We vote like any other person.
Traditionally, as I said, it's important because it's part of the prayer. Allahu
Across Wisconsin, Ibrahim Saeed of Madison's Islamic Center says publicly broadcasting the call to prayer has not been an issue before.
We here almost 42 years now. We never even thought of it.
Larger Muslim communities in Michigan and Minneapolis do, but not Madison or Milwaukee.
With the technology we have, you can have it on your phone. You can get it through the internet. You can get it the way we connect to people through our groups.
For Somalians in Barron, it was a love of peace that prompted the next step, withdrawing their request.
We do not wish to be the target of the trouble and conflict, especially here in Barron.
Having harmony in a community is more important, and there is more gain than broadcasting the call outside.
That was Naomi Coles reporting for us. And very recently, as she alluded to, Minneapolis was the first major city in the U.S. to grant permission to its Muslim communities to publicly broadcast their call. Dearborn, Michigan has the largest Muslim community in the States. They have had it for several years. The main objective of archery is hitting the bullseye, and you'd think you'd have to see the target to be able to do that. But a group of blind archers are proving that is not the case. Jasmine Van Diver and Dan Smars are both part of a group of blind archers that practice at Westtown Archery in Brookfield near Milwaukee. They say it allows them to find inspiration and also gives them a chance to not only be competitive, but to do something special.
We have just choices in life, and you can either choose to sit there or get up and do some archery.
These archers also compete at the annual Wisconsin Highland Games. That's each Labor Day weekend in Waukesha. The Hmong New Year celebration was back in downtown St. Paul after a 2-year hiatus because of COVID. Ren Clayton went to the River Center where thousands were happy to celebrate together.
People everywhere.
Very overwhelming, but in a good way. We did not expect so many people to be waiting outside, waiting to get into our event.
The 2-day Hmong New Year celebration is on pace to see well over 35,000 people.
We really appreciate the support and everyone coming together again after 2 years of not having this. It's been very hectic, but we're rolling with the punches and a lot of good things.
COVID kept it away for 2 years. Now it's back, and so is the dance competition.
Unbelievable. Seeing how many people are here competing and just being here, all the vendors. It's so crowded. It has never been like this before.
For dozens of small business owners, a chance to get in front of thousands of people.
These are my limited edition blankets.
In a special atmosphere.
See family, hang out with friends, kids can go around. They don't have to be afraid of, getting lost or anything. It feels just like a big family hangout again.
Minnesota has the largest concentration of Hmong population in the United States.
Unfortunately, we don't have a country. We don't have a family that we can go back to. So here, we do this event here for the people so that we can come together and have something for us Hmong people.
One more thing, returning better than ever.
The annual New Year celebration is put on by the United Hmong Family Organization. Well, if you want to walk through a gingerbread wonderland, then you should head on over to the Norway House in Minneapolis. Over there, they have more than 200 gingerbread houses set up for the holiday season, all of them made by people in the community.
It's really wonderful, especially when you see little kids with their parents or their grandparents coming in, and just kind of cross-generational sharing in the holiday spirit. Grandparents especially love seeing structures that they recognize throughout the years.
The event has been going on for 8 years now and is inspired by a tradition in Norway. Speaking of sweet tooth treats, a West Des Moines chocolate shop is now in the national spotlight with its newest sugary concoction. Lauren Johnson takes us to the Chocolate Storybook to learn their sticky sweet recipe for success.
For decades, Chocolate Storybook in West Des Moines has been a one-stop shop to satisfy your sweet tooth. Now decked out with holiday sweets, you can find just about anything from peppermint bark to assorted candies. But in one corner of the store, you'll find shelves and shelves of cotton candy, an addition just as sweet as it is popular.
We started making cotton candy about 7 years ago, and it's just exploded ever since.
The colorful concoction is made out at their factory in Des Moines. Here they spin, contain, and label their products to be sent off to restaurants and businesses around the globe.
We have customers all over the U.S., even some in France and Dubai and other countries. We also do private label for Universal Studios.
Production for chocolate cotton candy was underway when KCCI visited, but that's just one of their more normal flavors. They have about 50 rotating selections from sweet to savory.
One of them is pickle, one of them is spicy pickle. We also have maple bacon and jalapeno. We even have made pizza and ketchup and fry cotton candy.
Shearer and her husband took over the store back in 2000. After more than 20 years, they say they're ready to raise the bar. Chocolate bar, that is.
We are constantly trying to innovate because we are, like I said, one of the few places doing what we're doing.
And the Chocolate Storybook also made national headlines 5 years ago. In 2017, they made cotton candy for Mariah Carey. Her Christmas Factory collection has been sold in stores in big cities like Miami, Vegas, and Chicago.
Skies definitely looking cloudy this morning across the Coulee region, and we expect the clouds that you see here behind me to really just continue to increase, and skies will turn mostly cloudy with temperatures at 46 degrees. Luckily, we'll have that south-southeast wind in place despite the clouds to help keep us relatively mild for this time of year. Meanwhile, tonight we're only going to drop down to 33, and I say only because our lows are supposed to be into the 20s, so slightly mild out there, and south-southeast winds at around 10 to 15 miles an hour to help us out. All right, so let's take a look now at your drivecast. Overall, mostly cloudy throughout much of the morning. Skies will then turn cloudy here for the lunch hour, and then mainly cloudy weather conditions are going to continue to settle in across the Coulee region from the west as we take you into your late afternoon to early evening commute as well. But stay tuned. We do have some big changes on the way, and we'll talk about that next in the full weather forecast. That's still to come next in weather. Ken?
All right, thanks very much, Derek. It is 6:40 a.m. on this Monday morning. When we return, after 8 years, Jennifer Lopez announcing a return to music. All the details on her new album coming up after the break.
Conditions are looking quiet here from City Cam 8, as you can see behind me, and we will continue to remain this way up until at least later in the day when skies will turn mainly cloudy. We'll get to that in a second. Temperatures in La Crosse are currently at 22 degrees. We do have a feel-like temperature currently of 13, though, and conditions to the north in Eau Claire, 19 degrees, and a feel-like temperature here of roughly the same temperature. That's because we're really not looking at a whole lot of wind here to work with to give us a wind chill effect, though, if you will. Ladysmith to the north is currently at 26, so actually warmer than Eau Claire at the moment. It's 12 degrees currently in Black River Falls, and 15 is the current temperature reading in Sparta, 23 degrees to the west in Winona. And overall, this is a huge difference compared to the last 24 hours because as you step outside, you'll notice that temperatures are at least about 15 to 20 degrees colder than this time yesterday morning, with high temperatures today expected to rise mainly into the mid-40s come this afternoon. Now, over the last 6 hours or so, we have started to notice that the clouds have increased across much of the Coulee region, and this trend is really just going to continue throughout the day, especially as I mentioned here as we head into the afternoon hours. Skies will then turn overcast, and those overcast conditions will continue throughout the day, again with temperatures up mainly into the 40s. But I do want to turn your attention to what's happening to the west in this trough of low pressure. Yeah, the developing storm system here is going to be influencing our weather starting as early as tomorrow morning, because not only will we see cloud cover here, but we're also going to be tapping into some of that energy containing some rain, maybe even mixing with snow, especially the snow, though, as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Once this developing system continues to move in across the area and take shape, the snow will especially come down tomorrow afternoon and also through tomorrow evening, and some of the snow that you may see here could turn heavy at times, so something that we'll have to keep our eyes on for possible accumulations as well. And then after that, things should settle down, because by tomorrow night to early Wednesday, Most of this will come to a close as that storm system continues to move towards the east, and we'll just be left over with mainly cloudy weather here as we head into early Wednesday. But notice how our winds here coming out of that north-northwesterly direction behind that system, so that in turn will drag in some cooler air behind the storm system as well to lower our temperatures. We'll get to your 8-day here in a second, and then by Wednesday afternoon into the evening, that's when most of the clouds here should come to a close. Here's a check on your 8-day forecast, and you'll see that what we're dealing with here for tomorrow: an 80% chance of rain or snow, and then after that, conditions are looking mostly sunny for Wednesday and Thursday. But check out the highs though. By mid to late week, we're going to be looking at highs only into the upper 20s to low 30s for Wednesday and Thursday before warming back up into the 40s come Friday, and their next cool down here arrives on Saturday. Don't forget, you can also download our free First Warn weather app. It's on the Google Play or Apple App Store. You get those current weather conditions as well as your 8-day forecast no matter where you are.
In our Buzz Report this morning, a beloved TV character is returning to the screen. Kelsey Grammer is set to reprise his role as Dr. Frasier Crane in a Frasier revival on Paramount+. He told People magazine the show's been in development for 6 or 7 years, and he says it will follow Frasier in a completely new phase of his life. The show will, of course, be without the late John Mahoney, who played Frasier's father, Marty Crane. Mahoney passed away in 2018 at the age of 77. And Grammer has also confirmed David Hyde Pierce, who played Frasier's brother Niles, was not interested in reprising his role. Those characters, Grammer says, will be honored in some way. The original show Frasier aired on NBC from '93 to 2004 and won 37 Emmys. Jennifer Lopez is returning to music with a new album that has a link to one of her past classics. This is called This Is Me Now, and according to a press release, it focuses on the journey the singer has made over the past 2 decades. And this announcement comes on the 20th anniversary of Lopez's 2002 record, This Is Me Then. In a recent interview in Vogue magazine, Lopez said she is not a tortured artist, that in spite of ups and downs in life, she makes her best music when she's happy and full of love. DJ Khaled says he's hosting the ultimate sneakerhead experience. He's turning his massive Miami sneaker closet into a limited edition Airbnb. Guests who book for the nights of December 5th or 6th get to sleep in the unique surroundings, receive an exclusive pair of his We the Best Air Jordan 5s, plus access to an outdoor lounge with a pool and other perks, all for $11 a night, 11 being his shoe size. You can try to nab the booking beginning tomorrow at airbnb.com/wethebest. We are heading to break, Derek, with today's Look Who's 8.
That's right, we have a handful of birthdays to celebrate here today, Ken. So we're going to start off with Jude, who is turning 8 months, and he is a happy boy that loves to jump and play with his older brother.
A happy birthday to Jude. Also a happy 8th birthday to Declan. He loves playing and watching all sports, especially his Wisconsin teams.
A happy 8th birthday to Ollie, and he is known to be thoughtful and kind-hearted to everyone he meets.
And a happy 88th birthday to Ruth. She is a feisty lady who enjoys quilting and planning neighborhood gatherings over a nice cocktail.
Well, if you know a special someone that is turning 8 months, 8 years, 1880, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them here.
So, yeah, just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com. You'll be looking for the Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab on our website. Time is 6:49 a.m. on this Monday, November 28th. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now coming up next. Welcome back. Time for your Morning News Now. Millions of people across the country are heading back home from the Thanksgiving holiday. A few severe weather systems are bringing widespread rain and snow across several U.S. regions, and that could create a travel nightmare for many. As of Sunday morning, more than 1,000 flights had been delayed and more than 45 flights were canceled in and out of the U.S., according to the flight tracking website FlightAware. Well, hey, if you want to walk through a gingerbread wonderland, then you should head on over to the Norway House in Minneapolis. They have over 200 gingerbread houses set up for this holiday season, all of them made by people in the community.
It's really wonderful, especially when you see little kids with their parents or their grandparents coming in, and just kind of cross-generational sharing in the holiday spirit. You know, grandparents especially love seeing structures that they recognize throughout the years.
This event has been going on for 8 years now and is inspired by a tradition out in Norway.
Skies are looking mostly cloudy this morning with temperatures in the 20s, although we should be above that freezing mark as we head towards 11 o'clock. And then pretty much cloudy throughout the rest of the day today. The afternoon temperatures will be well into the 40s thanks to a south wind to help keep us mild today, even though we'll be mainly cloudy.
All right, not too bad when it's a mild start to the week. Thank you, Derek. Here in La Crosse, the holiday shopping season has also had an effect on small business owners. Small Business Saturday gave shoppers a chance to find some great local deals. Joshua Larson of Larson's General says it is a good chance for people to get to know their downtown.
It's nice because it gets people out and about, helps when the weather is so nice, but you know, they're usually not just going to one place. They usually come down and check out the entire, you know, downtown as a whole, so it gets, you know, spreads business around and, you know, gets people to go to other places.
And in La Crosse, there are plenty of places to choose from. Downtown Main Street representatives also say shopping local makes a big difference because those businesses are still navigating through the pandemic. Also in La Crosse, historic Hickson House kicked off the holiday season with a look into the past. Starting over the weekend, visitors can learn about Victorian holiday traditions and enjoy a tour of the house. After the tour, visitors will also get a chance to have some snacks and browse the discount gift shop. According to staff, this event all about connecting to the past and celebrating those old-gone holiday traditions.
It's a way that we can connect to the past, of course, to have programs like this. And we see the similarities, but we also see the differences between how families celebrated 100 years ago, what traditions were important to them, versus what we do today and what's important to us.
That house on 7th Street will be open for holiday tours next weekend. Tickets will cost you between $6 and $15. You can grab those online or at the door. We posted a link with more information on our website, news8000.com. Lighten up the North Side. The North Side La Crosse Business Association brought the North Side community together over the weekend for its annual Lights Over North La Crosse. Those who attended got to enjoy some live music, Santa and Mrs. Claus, along with hot dogs and s'mores by the fire. NLBA's president said this was a wonderful opportunity for the community to gather and a chance for the North Side to shine, just like the Rotary lights on the South Side. An Atoma High School senior feeling the support of her community these days. Peyton Foster has been diagnosed with stage 4 classic Hodgkin's lymphoma. She faces 6 months of chemotherapy, and it's wiping out her chance to compete in her final gymnastics season. To support their team captain, Toma Gymnastics is selling team t-shirts saying "One Team, One Family" and Team Peyton. The efforts have already raised thousands of dollars. Now that t-shirt sale does end today, so if you want to join in on the fundraising effort, we have a link to it as well as this full exclusive News 8 Now story on news8000.com.
And here's a final check on your 8-day forecast for today. Highs will reach around 46 under mainly cloudy skies. We'll keep our eyes here for the weather on the weather for tomorrow, as we are looking at a decent chance of some rain and snow that could affect your plans as well. So something we'll have to monitor tomorrow, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean 80%. That's almost a guarantee at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. Especially the afternoon and evening, we could be looking at a transition over to mainly all snow.
Okay, and you had mild temperatures today, but those winds in like the 12, 13
yeah,
mile per
it'll
hour
create
speed.
a little bit of a wind chill today.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So something we'll have to keep our eyes on.
All right. Thanks so much for watching this morning. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on our website, and we'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. I'm Ken Kozrowski. That's Derek Sibley. Have a great day.